Commander Jiho walked into the massive war room, where the Galactic Empire's most powerful leaders gathered. The chamber stretched for hundreds of meters, filled with floating holographic displays showing star maps, fleet positions, and conquered worlds. His human appearance made him stand out among the various alien species, but he had earned his place through years of loyal service to the Empire. The air hummed with tension as Admiral Vextar, a towering reptilian creature with emerald scales and 4 arms, slammed his clawed fist on the command table. His yellow eyes glowed with anger as he replayed the mysterious transmission from the Watchers for the 100th time. "These shadow creatures dare to threaten us," Vextar snarled, his forked tongue flicking out between razor-sharp teeth. "They claim Earth is some kind of elaborate trap, but look at the evidence." He gestured toward the holographic display showing Earth's defensive capabilities. 12 outdated patrol ships, basic energy shields, and primitive nuclear weapons. This is what they call dangerous. General Korthak, a massive insectoid being with compound eyes and chitinous armor, clicked his mandibles in agreement. "Our smallest battlecruiser could destroy their entire fleet in minutes. Why do the Watchers protect these weak mammals?" Jiho remained silent, watching as other council members voiced their opinions. The Galactic Empire controlled over 3,000 star systems, commanded fleets of millions of warships, and had crushed every resistance they encountered. Earth seemed like just another easy conquest. Lieutenant Minji, his trusted aide, stood quietly beside him, updating the tactical displays with real-time intelligence. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling up data from SPY, satellites positioned throughout the galaxy. To the Alien Council, she appeared to be a simple human assistant, but Jiho knew better. Meanwhile, on the distant blue planet called Earth, Dr. Hyunwoo sat in what appeared to be an ordinary basement, laboratory beneath Seoul's busy streets. Above him, millions of people went about their daily lives, completely unaware of the conversation happening light years away. His monitoring equipment, disguised as old computer servers, tracked every Imperial ship movement across 17 sectors. The data flowing across his screens would have shocked the Alien Council. Earth's defensive network extended far beyond their solar system, with hidden monitoring stations positioned along major trade routes. Every Imperial fleet movement had been tracked and analyzed for decades. His wife, Sora, worked from their apartment, upstairs, appearing to manage social media accounts for various businesses. Her fingers typed innocent-looking posts about daily life, restaurant recommendations, and family photos. But hidden within the code of these posts were encrypted messages reaching sleeper agents across the galaxy. Back in the war room, Jiho finally spoke. "Perhaps we should reconsider this invasion," he suggested calmly. "The Watchers have never given false warnings before. They helped us avoid the plasma storms in the Andromeda sector and warned us about the Void Eaters near the Galactic Rim." The Alien Council erupted in harsh laughter that echoed through the chamber. Admiral Vextar's scales darkened with amusement. "You suggest we fear a planet of primitive apes? Their most advanced ship barely reaches half light speed. Our dreadnoughts move at 12 times light speed and carry planet-cracking weapons. The humans have been in space for less than 2 centuries, added General Korthak, his compound eyes glittering. "We have conquered star systems older than their entire civilization. What possible threat could they pose?" Commander Zeflos, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, pulsed with bright colors as he communicated through light patterns. "The mathematical probability of Earth posing any real threat is 0.00101%. Our tactical computers have run every possible scenario." Jiho nodded respectfully but pressed on. "The Watchers spoke of deception. They said Earth's weakness is carefully orchestrated. What if we're walking into something we don't understand?" Vextar's laughter grew louder. 10,000 ships, Jiho. 10,000 of our most advanced warships, carrying weapons that can shatter moons and shields that can withstand supernovas. Even if every human on Earth suddenly became a perfect warrior, they would still be helpless, insects before our might. The war room filled with agreement from the assembled generals and admirals. Species from across the galaxy nodded their various heads, clicked their approval, or pulsed with confident energy. The decision was unanimous. Earth would fall within days of their arrival. As the council dispersed to begin final preparations, Ji-ho caught Minji's eye. She gave him the slightest nod, confirming that their secret message had been sent. On Earth, Dr. Hyunwoo would receive the final confirmation within hours. The trap was set, and the Empire was walking directly into it. The greatest military force in galactic history was about to discover that sometimes the most dangerous enemies are the ones who appear completely helpless. The massive Imperial Armada stretched across space like a metal storm cloud. 10,000 warships of every size and design, moving in perfect formation toward the small blue planet. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the star charts count down their arrival time. 3 months to reach Earth and claim their easiest victory yet. On Earth, the sun rose over Busan as it had for billions of years. Tai-hyung walked out to his rice fields, pulling on worn work gloves and starting up his old red tractor. To any observer, he looked like just another farmer beginning his daily routine. The tractor coughed and sputtered as it always did, its faded paint and rusty exterior telling the story of decades of hard work. But hidden beneath the ordinary farming equipment lay technology that would have amazed the approaching alien fleet. Quantum field generators disguised as hydraulic systems could create energy barriers strong enough to stop plasma cannons. The innocent-looking GPS antenna actually communicated with defense satellites positioned throughout the solar system. As Tai-hyung plowed his fields, the tractor's modified sensors scanned the soil for something far more important than crop conditions. Deep underground lay a network of fiber optic cables connecting his farm to military installations across the planet. Every furrow he plowed activated another section of Earth's hidden defense grid. 200 kilometers away in Seoul, Na-young sat in her small office cubicle, reviewing insurance claims on her computer screen. Her colleagues saw her as a quiet, hard-working woman who processed paperwork with unusual dedication. They had no idea that her insurance database contained the real identities and locations of thousands of sleeper agents worldwide, while her screen showed boring claim forms and policy numbers. Her mind worked through complex calculations for orbital defense platforms hidden among Earth's communication satellites. Each insurance claim she processed actually contained targeting data for weapons systems that could track ships moving at faster than light speeds. Her coffee grew cold as she typed, but Na-young barely noticed. The approaching Imperial fleet had no idea that their exact position, speed, and weapon signatures were being analyzed by someone they would dismiss as an ordinary office worker. Far beneath the Pacific Ocean, 3 kilometers down in an underwater facility that officially didn't exist, Admiral Do-hyun's eyes slowly opened for the first time in 15 years. The cryogenic chamber hissed as it released pressurized gases, and warming lights bathed his body as circulation returned to his limbs. Around him, hundreds of similar chambers began their wake-up cycles. Men and women who had volunteered to sleep. 4 decades were now stirring to life, their bodies perfectly preserved for this moment. These weren't ordinary soldiers, but Earth's most elite defenders, each one trained in combat techniques that combined human intuition with advanced technology. Do-hyun sat up slowly, his muscles remembering their strength as medical robots performed quick health scans. The facility around him hummed with activity as automated systems began powering up weapons that had waited patiently in the ocean depths. Torpedo tubes the size of subway tunnels prepared to launch missiles that could punch through the hulls of Imperial dreadnoughts. In a modest apartment in Tokyo, Captain Yuna was making dinner when her smartphone buzzed with what appeared to be a spam message about discount electronics. But her trained eye immediately recognized the activation codes hidden within the innocent text. After 30 years of living as a seemingly ordinary translator, her real mission was finally beginning. She calmly finished preparing her meal, then walked to her bedroom closet. Behind hanging clothes and storage boxes lay a hidden panel that opened to reveal equipment worth more than most small countries' military budgets. A combat suit that could make her invisible to most alien sensors, weapons designed specifically to counter Imperial technology, and communication devices that could coordinate with defense forces across the galaxy. As she suited up, Yuna's movements were fluid and precise, muscle memory from decades of secret training taking over. Through her apartment window, Tokyo's skyline looked peaceful and normal, but she knew that beneath the city lay tunnels connecting to launch facilities for humanity's most advanced fighters. Meanwhile, the Imperial fleet continued its journey, confident in their overwhelming superiority. Their long-range scanners detected exactly what they expected to see. Earth's space-based defenses consisted of a few outdated orbital platforms, primitive nuclear missiles, and 12 patrol ships that looked like they belonged in a museum. What their scanners couldn't detect were the thousands of objects floating in Earth's orbit that appeared to be space junk, abandoned satellites, and debris from old missions. Each piece of apparent garbage actually contained sophisticated weapons systems, cloaked by technology that made them invisible to Imperial sensors. The alien commanders laughed as they reviewed Earth's pathetic diplomatic messages, pleading for peaceful contact and offering to surrender valuable resources in exchange for being left alone. They saw weakness and desperation, exactly what humanity wanted them to see. But across Earth, the real preparations continued in secret, as ordinary people revealed their extraordinary true purposes, and humanity prepared to spring the greatest trap in galactic history. Admiral Vextar stood on his flagship's bridge, his scaled hands gripping the command rail as Earth's pathetic defense fleet approached. 12 small ships moved in loose formation, their hulls scarred and outdated, looking like relics from a forgotten war. His reptilian lips curled into a cruel smile, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. "Look at them," he hissed to his officers, pointing at the holographic display. 12 ancient vessels against 10,000 of our finest warships. This will be over before it begins. The human ships transmitted desperate pleas for mercy, their voices crackling through outdated communication systems. "Please, we surrender. Our weapons are no match for your technology. We offer to share our resources if you spare our cities." General Korthak's compound eyes glittered with amusement. "Shall we accept their surrender, Admiral? It would save us the trouble of target practice." Vextar's laugh echoed through the bridge. "No, we make examples of those who waste our time, begin orbital bombardment of their major population centers. Show the galaxy what happens to planets that dare to exist without our permission." The first wave of plasma cannons fired, sending streams of superheated energy toward Earth's largest cities. New York, London, Tokyo, and Seoul appeared defenseless as the devastating beams streaked through space. Imperial gunners celebrated their easy victory, already planning how to spend their bonus credits. Then everything changed. In Seoul, what appeared to be ordinary office buildings suddenly began transforming. Glass windows slid away to reveal massive energy cannons that had been hidden in plain sight for decades. Thalota Tower, one of the city's tallest structures, split open like a flower to unveil a weapon capable of punching holes through battleship armor. Similar transformations occurred across every major city on Earth. The Empire State Building rotated to reveal targeting systems that locked onto Imperial ships with impossible precision. The Burj Khalifa extended antenna arrays that could jam alien communications across entire star systems. Even small suburban houses opened hidden compartments containing missile launchers and shield generators. Admiral Vextar's confident smile vanished as his sensors detected massive energy signatures appearing all across Earth's surface. "What is this?" he roared, his voice cracking with shock. "How is this possible?" But Earth's greatest surprise wasn't on the planet's surface. The moon, which Imperial scans had dismissed as a lifeless rock suitable only for mining, suddenly erupted with activity. Massive sections of the lunar surface slid away like enormous doors, revealing weapon installations that had remained hidden for centuries. Commander Minho sat in the primary control room buried 3 kilometers beneath the moon's surface, surrounded by holographic displays showing every Imperial ship in perfect detail. His fingers danced across the controls as he activated systems that had waited patiently for this exact moment. "All stations, this is Lunar Command," he announced calmly into his headset. "Execute Order 7. Planet-wide electromagnetic pulse in 3, 2, 1. Hidden generators across Earth's surface and throughout the solar system synchronized their power output, creating an electromagnetic pulse unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The invisible wave of energy expanded outward at the speed of light, washing over the Imperial fleet like a digital tsunami. Half the alien warships went dark instantly, their advanced computer systems fried by an energy pulse specifically designed to target their technology. Emergency lighting flickered on aboard the surviving vessels as backup systems struggled to compensate for the massive system failures. In the chaos that followed, Captain Yunji revealed her ship's true nature. What had appeared to be a simple cargo hauler, complete with faded paint and rusty exterior panels, suddenly shed its disguise like a snake shedding skin. The fake hull plating fell away to reveal a sleek vessel that seemed to bend light around itself. Yunji's ship didn't use conventional engines or weapons. Instead, it manipulated gravity itself, creating localized fields that could crush enemy vessels or fling them across space like toys. As Imperial ships tried to lock onto her position, she simply altered the gravitational fields around her vessel, making their targeting computers think she was in 12 different places at once. "Target acquired," she whispered, focusing on Vexitar's flagship. With a thought, she created a gravity well that pulled 3 Imperial destroyers together, their hulls crumpling like paper as they collided at impossible speeds. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out as Earth's true defense fleet revealed itself. Ships that had been hiding among asteroid fields, disguised as space debris, or cloaked beyond the range of Imperial sensors suddenly appeared. Each vessel used technology that the Empire had never encountered, weapons that rewrote the rules of physics in localized areas. The trap had been sprung perfectly, and the Galactic Empire's mightiest fleet found themselves fighting an enemy they had completely underestimated. Burning Imperial warships streaked across Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their once mighty hulls cracking apart as they plummeted toward the surface. Admiral Vexitar watched in horror from his damaged flagship as half his fleet became space debris in less than an hour. The humans had done the impossible. They had turned the galaxy's most powerful military force into scrap metal, but this was only the beginning of the revelations that would shake the Empire to its core. Deep beneath Seoul's bustling streets, Dr. Hyunwoo's modest laboratory suddenly transformed into something that belonged in science fiction movies. Hidden wall panels slid away to reveal massive holographic displays, showing real-time positions of every ship in the solar system. The cramped basement expanded as concealed sections opened, revealing a command center that coordinated planetary defense across multiple star systems. Hyunwoo stood at the center of it all, no longer the quiet scientist he had pretended to be for decades. His fingers moved across floating holographic controls, directing the battle with the precision of someone who had trained for this moment his entire life. Around him, dozens of operators emerged from hidden chambers, each one coordinating different aspects of Earth's defense network. "All defense grids are active," reported one technician. "Lunar installations are operating at full capacity. The orbital platforms have successfully neutralized 60% of the enemy fleet." Meanwhile, 3 floors above in their apartment, Zora sat calmly at her kitchen table with her laptop, appearing to browse social media while the battle raged in space above. But her innocent-looking posts were actually activation codes reaching across the galaxy, awakening sleeper agents who had been waiting for this moment for generations. On the alien homeworld of Zentari Prime, a human named Kang Ho had worked as a simple maintenance technician in the Imperial shipyards for 30 years. When Sora's coded message reached him, he quietly accessed the computer systems he had been secretly monitoring for decades. With a few keystrokes, he disabled the construction of 12 new battleships and corrupted the navigation systems of vessels preparing to reinforce the Earth invasion. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, a human woman named Jisoo, who had posed as a geological surveyor for 15 years, suddenly revealed her true purpose. She activated hidden explosives that collapsed the main processing facilities, cutting off the Empire's supply of rare metals needed for their advanced weapons. In the Andromeda sector, human traders who had built trusted relationships with alien merchants over decades suddenly began sharing classified Imperial shipping routes with Earth's command. Every trade agreement, every friendship, every casual conversation had been part of an intelligence-gathering operation spanning centuries. Back on Earth, the transformation continued. The peaceful farm, where Tai Hyung had grown rice for years, revealed its true nature as massive weapon platforms rose from beneath the fields. His entire property had been a disguise for one of the planet's most advanced missile defense systems. Similar installations emerged from farms, parks, and even shopping centers across the globe. The Tokyo office building, where Na-young had processed insurance claims, became a coordination hub for space-based weapons platforms. Her boring paperwork had actually been targeting data for satellites that could track and destroy ships moving faster than light. Every claim she had processed had helped map the Empire's fleet movements and identify weaknesses in their ship designs. As the battle continued, massive ships began appearing from behind Earth's moon. These vessels dwarfed anything the Empire had ever built, their hulls gleaming with technology that seemed to bend reality itself. They moved without visible engines, their weapons firing beams of pure energy that could slice through Imperial armor like paper. Admiral Vextar's remaining officers stared in disbelief at their sensor readings. "Admiral, those ships, they're reading as older than our entire civilization. Some of these vessels appear to be over 10,000 years old, but their technology is more advanced than anything in our databases." Before Vextar could respond, space around Earth began shimmering like heat waves. Dozens of enormous ships materialized from nowhere, their organic-looking hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. These were the Watchers, the mysterious species that had tried to warn the Empire about Earth's true nature. The largest Watcher vessel, shaped like a living creature with translucent wings spanning several kilometers, positioned itself directly in front of Vextar's flagship. Its communication came not through radio waves, but directly into the minds of every surviving Imperial crew member. "We tried to warn you," the Watcher leader's thoughts echoed in their consciousness. "Humanity has been our ally for over a millennium. They have protected countless worlds from your expansion, always from the shadows, always appearing weak when they are actually the strongest force in this galaxy." The truth hit the Imperial survivors like a physical blow. Earth hadn't been caught, unprepared. They had been preparing for this exact scenario for over 1,000 years. Every human settlement, every technological development, every cultural exchange had been designed as part of an elaborate defensive strategy that spanned multiple generations. Humanity had turned their entire civilization into a trap, and the Empire had walked directly into it. The battle that was supposed to last days ended in mere hours. Across Earth's orbit, 10,000 Imperial warships floated helplessly in space, their weapons disabled and their crews alive but completely powerless. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had defeated the Empire's mightiest fleet without destroying a single vessel or killing a single crew member. Admiral Vextar sat in his darkened command center, staring at screens that showed his once proud armada being systematically boarded by human forces. But these weren't the primitive humans his intelligence reports had described. The boarding parties moved with military precision that impressed even his veteran officers, using technology that made Imperial equipment look like ancient artifacts. Captain. Yuna led one of the boarding teams onto Vextar's flagship, her advanced combat suit, allowing her to walk through the ship's corridors as if she owned them. The alien crew members she encountered didn't resist. They were too shocked by what they had witnessed to even consider fighting back. "Admiral Vextar," she said calmly as she entered his bridge, removing her helmet to reveal a face that showed no anger or hatred, only professional determination. "You and your crew are now prisoners of the Galactic Liberation Alliance. You will be treated with dignity and respect, something your empire rarely showed to others." Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the planet's true command structure finally revealed itself to the galaxy. In a facility that stretched for kilometers beneath the Sahara Desert, Admiral Jiho stood before holographic displays showing star systems across the galaxy. He was no longer the quiet human officer who had served in the Empire's war room, but the supreme commander of humanity's secret military forces. Beside him, Lieutenant Minji coordinated with resistance movements across hundreds of worlds. Her innocent appearance as a simple aide had been the perfect cover for someone who actually managed intelligence networks, spanning entire star clusters. The data she had gathered during her years in Imperial service was now being used to liberate oppressed populations throughout the galaxy. "Open channels to all Imperial worlds," Jiho commanded, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had planned this moment for decades. It's time the galaxy learned the truth. Across the galaxy, on every Imperial world and space station, emergency broadcasts interrupted regular programming. Jiho's image appeared on screens, flanked by dozens of humans who had been living secret lives throughout Imperial space for generations. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began, his voice calm but filled with determination. "For over 800 years, the Galactic Empire has spread fear and destruction across our stars. They have conquered peaceful worlds, enslaved entire species, and convinced everyone that resistance was impossible. Today, that lie ends." The broadcast showed footage of the battle above Earth, revealing technology that stunned viewers across the galaxy. Ships that could manipulate gravity, weapons that disabled enemies without destroying them, and defensive systems that had been hiding in plain sight for centuries. "We are not conquerors," Jiho continued. "For centuries we have protected worlds you never knew existed. We have provided safe passage for refugees, hidden entire civilizations from Imperial expansion, and prepared for this day, when we could finally end the age of fear." On the farming world of Kepler 438b, alien refugees who had been living in secret underground cities for decades finally emerged into sunlight. Human guardians who had posed as simple colonists revealed the vast shelter networks they had built to protect species fleeing Imperial conquest. Taehyung's rice farm outside Busan transformed into a massive landing facility as refugee ships began arriving from across the galaxy. The peaceful fields where he had grown crops became temporary housing for thousands of beings who had lived in fear for generations. Medical facilities emerged from underground bunkers to treat wounded survivors, while food distribution centers fed the hungry. In Seoul, Nayoung's insurance office became a coordination hub for humanitarian aid operations spanning multiple star systems. Her boring paperwork experience proved invaluable as she organized supply deliveries, medical assistance, and temporary housing for millions of displaced beings across the galaxy. The Watchers, humanity's ancient allies, finally revealed their true role in galactic affairs. Their leader, a being of pure thought inhabiting a crystalline body, addressed the galaxy alongside Jiho. "For 10,000 years, we have watched civilizations rise and fall," the Watcher explained, its voice resonating in the minds of listeners across space. "When we discovered humanity, we found something unique, a species willing to sacrifice their own comfort to protect others. They asked for nothing in return except the chance to help." Captain Yuna stood before the assembled leaders of hundreds of worlds, no longer hiding her identity as the supreme commander of the new Galactic Defense Force. Behind her stood representatives of species that had been thought extinct, civilizations that had survived in secret under human protection. "The Empire now faces a simple choice," she announced. "Join our confederation based on mutual protection and cooperation, or face the combined might of an alliance you never saw coming." The age of conquest was over. The age of protection had begun. The HFY end of here.